Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to our 2020 March book launch. My name is Jim Howard. I'm the publisher for Morgan James Publishing, and I'm really excited you're here today. And I'm excited to have our special guest with us today, Bethany Lee. And Bethany is the author of Called Upon. So, welcome, Bethany. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on.
I'm excited to talk with you. I know we talked a while back when the book was first coming together and started the process, and to see where it is now. The cover is beautiful. The book is a beautiful story and a beautiful message, and I can't wait to dive in here and talk with you and introduce you out to those that are listening today or watching today and are going to want to jump in and grab a copy of this book. So, Called Upon, what inspired the creation of your story?
Well, so many things. I think I've always wanted to write a good mystery, solid mystery involving teenagers in kind of a removed situation where they're away from parental supervision and getting into mischief and finding adventures and who doesn't love a good little murder? So a little bit of murder in there. Um, I think, gosh, I can remember wanting to do that as young as like 7 or 8. But I also really loved those stories that happened at summer camp. If you remember, like the Parent Trap, or I'm pretty sure Babysitters Club even had like some cool camp mystery. And that kind of story has just really always excited me. And I've always found it really interesting. I always knew I would write one. And then sure enough, I did. And I think that it's going to really grab people in the same way that I felt grabbed by the story at a young age.
Yeah, no, it's really well written. Brings you through all the emotional highs and lows, and integrates character development and story
Mhm.
building. So you did really, really well putting the book together, and I know the readers are going to enjoy it. They're going to love it, and they're going to fall right into it. So now the book itself is structured in a little bit of an unusual way. Why was the format for your book so important to the storyline?
Absolutely. I don't know if you remember the show Lost. It was on like 10 years ago, maybe. I remember watching and thinking the way that this story is structured and told is so interesting. You have like what's happening in the here and now, a bunch of people who are on a plane wreck and they are on some island somewhere. And so you have that story going on. And then you also get little flashbacks from their life before. And so you kind of get glimpses of who they are. And you know that these flashbacks and then also the present moment at the island are going to come together, but you don't know how. And so that formula for that show was really inspiring to me because I was on the edge of my seat every week. How are these characters connected? We know they are, and how is it that their past led them to the moment they're in right now? Um, with Called Upon, I kind of liked that concept of having different storylines that we don't know how that they're related, but we know that they will be. And so one of those characters, the main one, is Kaitlin. She's a 14-year-old girl, awkward as can be socially, but very funny and just a cute personality. And she is thrown into this summer camp world. Her mom surprises her with it, said, by the way, you're going to summer camp for the summer. And she goes there and is starting to notice that it's not just your typical everyday summer camp. There's really interesting, strange things going on, like um, camp counselors who are kind of void of personality in a way, and they have these chalky gray eyes. Um, and then she notices that she's being watched. Like there's a surveillance system in place. Her mail is being opened. And then there's also campers who are getting sick, and then one day they're there, and the next day they're not. They've kind of just disappeared. So all of these things are going, and that's the main storyline. But then there's these two other storylines that are kind of peripherally going on through the story. One is about a boy named Parker, and he's having a lot of issues with his dad. His dad seems like maybe not the nicest dad, and he really wants to please his dad, and he wants to do everything that his dad tells him to do, but he's having all of these problems. So there's another storyline. And then the third one is of a teenage girl, and she is in the unfortunate position of being pregnant at a young age, and kind of in a situation there. So there's these three like stories that these people don't know each other. but we know that they're going to come together in some sort of way. And then when they do, it's kind of bonkers. It's just, oh my gosh, this is how they're connected. How can these people that don't even know each other, how can they be entangled in this crazy way? So that's basically why I structured the story the way that I did.
Beautiful. So intrigue, surprise, entertainment factor,
Mhm.
all the things you want in a great mystery novel, but also you
So
weave in a lot of topics that I think are relevant to everyday life and things that we go through. So beyond just the entertainment value of a really good story, what messages do you hope that the reader can take away from this, or you want to leave with them?
yeah, I just remember so vividly the feelings that I had as a teenager, and I think that this is probably a pretty universal feeling for boys and for girls and for adults. I mean, humans in general, feeling like uncertain about their worth. And a lot of times we base our worth what other people think of us. So like for example, Kaitlin, she doesn't fit in at school and she's awkward. And because of that, she feels like she is not of worth and that she doesn't have much value or much to offer. Later on in the story, though, as she's starting to fit in at camp and realize, oh my gosh, I have friends, and oh, look, that boy has a crush on me, then all of a sudden she feels like she does have self worth. And then other things happen and knock her down, and she feels like she doesn't, and then she does. And all of these things make her feel, it's almost as though she is giving other people control over how she feels about herself and about her value. Um, and I remember feeling that way like in junior high and high school as well. And what I wanted the message of the story for the readers is that your worth is not dependent upon what other people think about you. It has nothing to do with that. And it has actually nothing to do even with what you think of yourself, which is kind of crazy. But it you have value simply because you are a human, you are a child of God, and you were born with that worth.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of the journey that I want my main character to go through, is that going back and forth, but really coming to that realization that I am of value simply because I am. And because of that, what can I do with that value? How can I channel that into something positive and wonderful? That was that was my main concern actually when writing this book, to really subtly, not like in your face preachy, but just subtly give youth that understanding of themselves.
Yeah, beautiful. And we find ourselves in all kinds of situations through life, and some not our own doing, but they all define who we are. And if we allow it, it can run us over and really put us in a place where we're just uncertain of the next step, or uncertain of who we are, or uncertain how to show up. But in the end, the truth is we are who we make ourselves to be and who we're called to be. So your book, I think, is very clear with that message, and it wraps that message up so well in the beautiful story, with amazing characters who are very relatable, and that's something that I think we miss a lot in today's fiction world. We see a lot of great stories, and maybe the characters aren't as relatable, or we can't see ourselves in those stories. This one, you absolutely can. And I think we can all identify with somebody in the journey. So you've done really, really well with that. So as the people who are watching this are now as excited as I am, because I'm waiting on my copy to get here, um, you know, how can they find out more about you and get more in touch and get in touch with more of what you're doing?
Thank you for asking. Yes, they can go to my website, bethanylee.com. And there's lots of blog posts, and you can have access to the book there. Um, I'm on Instagram at Bethany R. Lee 81. I'm on Facebook, just Bethany Robinson Lee. So those are the best places to see me. And of course, the book comes out officially in bookstores, and Amazon and all those places in March. So yes, check me out there as well.
Awesome. And absolutely make sure that you guys that are watching this, make sure you get connected with Bethany and her book. Her book is beautiful inside and out. The message is crystal clear. No better author could write that story, and no better story could be written that you could connect with and enjoy. Have fun reading it, enjoy the twists and turns, but also take away some powerful, powerful messaging in it. So I hope you go in and visit her website, check her out on social media. Most importantly, go grab a copy of the book, and you can get that anywhere books are sold. And make sure you check out morganjamesbooklaunch.com if you need more information or access to it. And, Bethany, thank you so much, not just for writing the book, but, sharing that message and sharing this message today with our audience. Certainly proud of you, and can't wait to see what happens as the book gets into all of the hands that are going to enjoy reading it.
Well, thank you so much too. And I just couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of the Morgan James family. You guys have been so supportive and wonderful, and I'm just proud to be a part of this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that. And to all of you guys out there watching, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure you go check out Bethany, her website, her social media, get a copy of Called Upon anywhere that you buy books. And we'll see you on our next one.
Thank you.